Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, my name is Raven and welcome back to my channel. Now in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys my Death Jester combat deck guide / tutorial. It's a nice little combat deck that I came up with over the last couple of days, and the entire thing revolves around speed, everything costing a low amount of stamina so you can put out a whole bunch of moves, and it has a whole bunch of mix-ups and everything loops into each other if you do it a specific way. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to show you guys the moves that I use, and then I'm going to show you exactly how to use all of them and how to loop them all together. With my little Death Jester combat deck, you are able to just absolutely overwhelm anyone. You can pretty much beat the majority of the people down before they get a chance to even attack you. So let's jump straight into the practice mode, shall we? Alrighty guys, so we're here in the practice mode. Now I'm going to show you guys all the moves I use. So in the top right attack sequence, so far we use a jab punch to kick it off, then use a direct punch, and then we use a wrist jab. As you can see, all of these are very, very quick. They have short to medium range, but that doesn't matter because you're going to be very close with this deck anyway. So that is the first line. Now the second line is a little bit different. At the start we have a Miwashi, which once again is very quick. It's a massive fucking roundhouse kick to the head. And then we have a back trip kick, which is very, very quick and it avoids high attacks. And then we have the jump light kick, which once again is pretty damn quick and it avoids low attacks. So that right there is your top left stance. Now, for the bottom left stance, we have a fast elbow, which is extremely quick, and this thing looks cool. That would look like it would fucking hurt. Next up, we have a fast back fist, which once again, you can see the trend here, extremely quick. So you can interrupt people and just land a whole bunch of moves on them, and they can't really do much to stop it. And then we have something that is different for the whole deck. Now, this is a 360 tornado kick. So it avoids low attacks, and it hits pretty goddamn hard, but it is very slow. Now, the reason why I have this in the deck is, one, it looks extremely goddamn cool, and you're able to use this thing just unexpectedly, just throw it out with the first two hits, throw this out, and they won't expect it because everything else is quick. It's so slow, and you're bound to hit them in the head, especially if they're dodging. So that is a 360 tornado kick. And now moving on to the last one, the bottom right stance. In the first one we have Sotouki, okay, which is once again, it's pretty damn quick, not as fast as the other ones, but it's fine. We then have an ankle stab. This thing has a fair bit of range, which is quite cool, so you can whiff the first hit, go into the ankle stab if you want. And once again, it has a lot of speed. And then the last one we have here is a fast punch. Now this isn't as fast as the rest of them, but it is still pretty fast and it does a fair bit of damage compared to all the other moves. So those are the moves, okay? Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you what they look like. So the way I've set this up is 3 out of the 4 stances, they loop back into themselves, okay? So we go for the top left stance. I just hit XXX. I'm using an Xbox controller, by the way. So just, if you're on PS4 or PC, convert it to whatever you're using. But if you just do 3 standard attacks in the top left one, it looks like this, okay? And as you can see, it's looped back into itself because I've made it so it ends on the same stance. The top right stance, once again, does the same thing. It ends in the exact same stance, but there are ways to switch between them, which I'll show you in a minute. So 1, 2, 3, just looks like that, okay? Nice and quick. The next one down the bottom will once again land in its own stance. So 1, 2, and then boom. So normally, if you haven't set your deck up properly, they will be jumping all over the place and changing stances, right? So I want to be able to change my stance when I want to change my stance, okay? So I've got ways to switch between the different stances and get into the right ones I want. But for the last one down here, this one is different. This one will end up in the top left stance. So the first 2 hits, boom, boom, and when you do the last one, you end up here. So that way you can go straight into that. So that's a little different for a reason. I'll get into that later on. But first I'm going to show you guys the alternates. So there's only 2 alternates we're going to be using for this deck, okay? I do have 4 over here, but we're only going to be realistically using 2. And one is this one right here, the Mei Liu. Now this thing is fucking insanely good because 1, it avoids high attacks, 2, it catches people as they're trying to dodge, it does a bit of damage, and most people don't expect this thing when you just throw it out of nowhere. So that's the first one we're going to be using. The second one we're going to be using is the curled up uppercut. Now once again, this thing is very, very quick and it allows us to switch into certain stances that we want to be in. Now, we don't really use the spinning back fist that much, but the one we do use a lot with one particular move is a Yura Marashi. I have no idea how to say that properly, please forgive me. But this move right here changes into another move, which I'll show you now. So, there is one combo that I love to do all the goddamn time, and one, it catches people as they're trying to dodge away, and it just throws people off completely. So when it comes to the top left stance, if you use your normal attack and then your alternate attack straight afterwards, you will basically do this kick and then that kick. 2 things to keep in mind. 1, they don't take up much stamina at all. 2, they will catch people if they're trying to dodge. And 3, you can just keep this thing going all day long. Boom. boom. You just go as long as you want, and I've trapped people in corners with this, and there's nothing they can pretty much do to stop it, okay? But there are ways to mix this up later on. But as you can see, you can literally just keep going with the goddamn thing. So one thing I like to do to throw people off is I'll do 2 rounds of that, and then I'll just let the combo go, okay? So 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I'll just let it go. Boom, boom. That way, you know, after about the 2 rounds, they think, aha, I know what he's doing. They're going to go for a hit, but then you go for it, and then you do the sweep, and you go under attack, and before you know it, they're fucked again. So that is the first one. Now, with the bottom left stance, okay, you don't want to do the 360 tornado kick, okay? So this one right here, it's too slow, most people will stop it. Like I said, you want to throw that out every now and then to catch people off guard. So what we want to do is we want to go into the top right stance, okay? And the way we get there is you do 2 attacks, 1, 2, and then your alternate attack. That will land you in your top right stance, okay? So then you can go for your 3 of those. So once again, you do 2 normal attacks, and then your third attack, instead of the tornado kick, you alternate it, so that way you go up into your top right stance. So 1, 2, boom, and you're up in your top right stance. So that's how you get to there. From the top right stance, we're able to get into our top left stance, and the way we do that is you can either do as many as you want, but you can go 1, 2, 3, alternate attack. You'll do that melee kick, and that will land you in your top left stance. Now, like I said, you can do this after as many hits you want. You can go 1 and then do it, okay? You can go 2 or do it. This is great because it allows you to mix it up. You can do all 3 the first time, okay? And the person thinks, okay, the only way he's going to be able to do that is if he does 3, but then you just do 2 this time, boom, and then you catch him off guard, and then you just do 1, and you can change it however you want. And then, of course, once you do it and you get into that stance, you can go into that again. So 1, 2, boom, and that combo we talked about there. Now, there is a way to loop yourself back into this stance. Now, the way this works is, if you do 3 normally, 1, 2, 3, and then alternate, you're back in your top right stance, and then you can go back around. Okay? Boom, and then you're here again. Alternate, 1, 2, 3, alternate. And you can just switch between these 2 stances. Now, when it comes to the top left stance, you can also keep yourself in this stance if you want, while still mixing it up. So, you can do your first one, which is you do the 2 rounds. So, 1, 2, 1, 2, okay, and then 1, 2, and then Y. You'll do this, and you're back to where you started. So you've just looped yourself back around. So you can loop yourself back around into the top right stance. And the way you do this is, you can go through this long form chain, and because everything's really quick, it really confuses people. So you can go normal, alternate, normal, alternate, normal, normal, alternate, and then loop it again. Boom, 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 and then alternate to go into your right stance. And then you can just go through your punches. And then once again, you can do that, and you're back into the other stance, and you can just go through whichever ones you want. So that is how you loop between those 3 stances. Your last stance down here, you don't need to use an alternate attack, okay? You can if you want, but you don't need to. The way this works is, if you just do 3 straight hits, 1, 2, 3, like I said, you'll end up in your top left stance, which is, of course, your kicking one of doom, where you can just confuse people. Now, there is a way to keep yourself in this bottom stance if you want to, okay? And that is, you just basically do 2 attacks and then you alternate. So 1, 2, alternate, okay? You'll do a spinning back fist, you'll stay here. Or you can do 3 attacks and then your alternate attack, and you can land yourself in your top right stance. So you can go 1, 2, 3, alternate, and then go through all those hits. Alternate, you end up in your top left stance. And then you go through all of these like that combo I showed you, okay? Boom. And you can end up in the top right stance. You can do whatever you want with this, and it's amazing for mix-ups. The whole point of my Death Jester deck is the fact that you are so quick and you're basically toying with them, okay? You are fucking around with them, you're doing whatever you want. You have so many moves that are super quick, and there's not much they can do to counter it unless they have heavy attacks. But if they have heavy attacks, all you can do is just dodge them. It leaves people you're versing very, very flustered, and I've had several people rage quit on me because they literally can't do anything to stop me. So when it comes to this combat deck, the main way you want to play is with your top left stance and your top right stance. You want to switch between those 2 a whole bunch, and if you find yourself down in these 2 stances, you have ways of getting back up into your top stances. So one more time, just as a recap, I'm just going to go over how you switch between the stances. So for the bottom left stance, it's just 2 normal attacks, and then an alternate, you end up in your top right stance. For your top right stance, to get to your top left, you do 3 attacks, 1, 2, 3, alternate, you end up in your top left. Now keep in mind, you can do as many of those as you want into your alternate to end up into your top left stance. For the top left stance, in order to get into the top right stance, once again, 1, 2, 3, and then alternate. You end up in top right. A nice little move here is you just do 1 normal attack into your alternate and just rinse and repeat that. So normal, alternate, and just keep going as long as you want, okay? Now for your bottom right stance, remember all 3 of them land you into your top left stance. So 1, 2, 3 ends up in top left. In order to keep yourself in that stance, you just do 2 into an alternate, 1, 2 alternate. You can stay in the bottom right. And if you want to switch over into your top right, it's 3 into an alternate. So 1, 2, 3 alternate, you end up in top right. So that is how you switch between them all. And just one last time so you guys know exactly what moves to go out and find so that way you can build this deck. You need the jab punch, you need direct punch, you need wrist jab, and then in the second line, you need the mawashi, you need the back trip kick, you need the jump light kick, and then you need a fast elbow, a fast back fist, a 360 tornado kick. But keep in mind, this one you can replace with anything else if you want. Like I said, I just love this kick because it looks fucking cool. And then you will need a soto uki, the ankle stab, and a fast punch. And for your alternates, you will need a mei lue, however you pronounce that, a curled up uppercut, spinning back fist, and a yura mawashi. So guys, that is my Death Jester combat deck. The only person that's going to be laughing is pretty much you, as you just beat the shit out of people and there's nothing they can do to stop you because you're so goddamn quick. You have an insane amount of mix-up, everything costs a jack-all amount of stamina, and you get to laugh in people's faces as you slowly but quickly beat them to death. But that is all I have for this video, so thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and let me know what you thought about my Death Jester deck. If you have something similar, please let me know what you use instead, and if you think you can improve upon my deck, please let me know what moves you'd use down below. And please share this video around, it helps me out a fuck ton, and if you want to see more videos from me, please hit the subscribe button. I shall see you all in the next video. Have a good one, guys.